You know what I do see a lot in this industry right now is people working second jobs, people that during the tough time, and I get it, over the last 3 years, it's been tough and you got to do what you got to do to make ends meet. But I feel like we're at this place where you got to make a decision, and if mortgage and real estate is the direction for you, then at some point you got to be willing to say, I have to cut off the, whatever it is. If it's not your uncle or your godparent or your spouse or whomever it is that's supporting you, if it's another job, it's taking you away from what really is your passion and what you need to do. So I would draw that parallel as well, because it's the same thing.
You're nailing it right there. 3 years ago, I was on a one-on-one coaching call with one of the agents, and they were suffering. She was, virtual, crying over a virtual Zoom, and she hadn't closed anything, and she said, I just don't know what to do, and I've been interviewing to go back to my previous career in medical sales until this gets going again, because I know there's more money and I was so successful, but the fountain has turned off. And I said, you're done. And she's like, what? And I go, you're done. And she goes, what do you mean? I'm like, you're already checked out. You're already looking for a backup plan instead of just, and she goes, Tony, there's no business. And I'm like, yes, there is. $50 million of real estate volume in your MLS is going under contract this month, period. No, it's not the 100 million that was, but there are plenty of people still producing because they have work ethic and drive to go and do the hard things that generate the business. I've always said, I said it about COVID, but now I've said it since COVID. COVID destroyed work ethic, period. Because it became so everybody was making money, just so much business by the end of 2020 going into 2021. And it just was coming at you. Right. And then I started saying hot markets destroy work ethic when it's so easy for the business to come in. And then as soon as there's not as much coming in, they don't have lead gen work ethic. They don't have prospecting work ethic. They're not willing to go and knock 250 doors or do social media at the level that I teach and go out and meet humans. And that's the problem. They want it to be easy. And what else is easy? A W-2 second job that they can rely on that has not as much money, but it's something that is easy to get until my business starts knocking down my door again.
Yeah, it's a crutch. I mean, there's no doubt. It's funny you mention that, because I would say that COVID, you're right, hot markets, and we've seen this. I started in 97, so about the same amount of time that you've been in mortgage. I've been in mortgage. So I've been through the cycles, right? And I've seen them. And hot markets absolutely do create laziness and complacency. But COVID was like a hot market coupled with, it's okay to not do open houses. It's okay to not go to the office. It's okay to wear pajamas all day. It's okay to drink all afternoon because everyone else is doing it. And so it's like a hot market times 10 because of all the things layered on. And we got to realize that, and I know that we're 3 years past COVID, but there is people that are still lingering from the environment that COVID allowed to fester in our industry, and they haven't broken out of it yet. And it's a problem.
Yeah, hands down. I can't stress it enough. You have to, and I used to say, I say this still if it's the topic I'm teaching, but when I'm talking about work ethic and everything, it's, maybe it's my fire department days. I don't know what, but firefighters are not sitting at home in their pajamas waiting for the station to call them and say, hey, we got a call, right? And get your uniform on, get to the station. We got to get on this call. No, they're at the station. They're in full uniform at all times, unless they're working out physically. If they're not working out, if there are no calls, they're in their uniform. What are they doing? Sitting on the lazy boys? No. They're taking inventory of the truck. Starting to sound familiar? Taking inventory of the engine. Maybe he's trying to get promoted, so he's going to take the engineer test, or she. So they're learning pressures and, friction loss and hoses and stuff like that to run the system, whatever it might be. But they are on duty, waiting for the call if it's not coming in, learning, researching, getting better at what they do, so that when the call does come, not only do they save the day, or AKA in our business, convert the deal because of all the training they've been doing while they're waiting for that call. That's what we're doing. And then what do they also do? They go out and patrol, and they happen to be out and about when there's a call, door knocking, whatever it might be, right? So maybe it's that I have that drive and work ethic. But yeah, I can't agree with you more. Those other factors definitely have led to why so many people in our industry are getting out of the industry, because they really never had it. They just worked hard with what came at them, but they don't work hard to go find.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. Well, let's fast forward to your book. So The Social Agent.
In one sec, before we do that, I have to say it. And, like my presentation Shift Happens, I say, do you think a lion stops chasing down a zebra because it stepped into a pile of shift? See, I said shift.
Yeah, you did.
For those watching, do you think it's going to stop chasing that zebra down because it stepped into a pile of shift? No, it's not going to stop the chase. It's not going to stop the hunt. Now, did it sprain its ankle? Maybe. Is it going a little slower? Sure. Did Mother Nature dry out that water hole and the zebras aren't hanging out there anymore, and it's got to go find where are the zebras now so it eats? But the one difference in this business is if you're a hunter or if you're not. Are you the lion at the zoo who wants to be fed, or are you a lion that wants to be out there and go get the food? And that's the challenging thing, is lions don't want to be fed. They're miserable in captivity, right? And if you're in sales, you need to be a lion.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you have to want it. You have to want it. And this industry, there's definitely times where you get fed. And I think people get used to it, and they get into this industry because they're like, oh, I can make a lot of money and I can get fed. It's like, no. Those are unique times in our industry. That is not the career of mortgage and real estate, right? And I think that's what you're saying. I agree.